Hello.
Hello, Kurt.
Hi.
Hey, this is editor Bill Hernandez with Hard Rock Reviews in Dallas, Texas. How are you?
Hey, how's it going? Looking forward to seeing you soon.
Yeah, it's right around the corner. As a matter of fact, let's remind everyone that today we're talking with founding member and drummer of Big Bad Voodoo Daddy, Kurt Sodergren. He and the band will be performing at the Longhorn Ballroom here in Dallas, Texas on February 18th, just 5 days from now. I'm really excited to see you guys again. Last time I saw you was many years ago at the Parker Playhouse in Fort Lauderdale when we had our offices over there. And that was about the last time we spoke, was about 6 years ago. So it's really great for you to take time out of your schedule and to reconnect.
Yeah, it's going to be a treat. The Longhorn Ballroom is amazing. I love that place.
I've never actually done any shows at that venue, so I'm really, really excited to come out and to see you guys paired up. I mean, that's going to be amazing.
Yeah, you're in for a treat. It's a great venue.
Awesome, awesome. So I just got about like eight quick questions. I know you're a busy guy, and I just wanted to go from the first question from the beginning, even before you came into this world. I wanted to talk about your grandfather because I understand that he played in swing and jazz bands and even served in the U.S. Army's big band during World War II. Is that correct?
That is true. That's Elmer, but the band members called him Sody because of Sodergren.
Ah,
And
okay.
and yeah, he played. He played. They used to. What they did would they would go to a town and then they would stay and do a residency for a month or two. So they'd usually live in an apartment maybe above the theater,
Mhm.
and they would do a whole like they would do skits and they would do music and yeah, it was pretty cool. But he did get drafted like a couple weeks shy of his 38th birthday,
Oh
which was I
man.
think the cut. I'm not sure, but I think it was the cutoff. And fortunately, he got put in band, and he spent most of his service in Iraq playing for rest and for R&R for the soldiers, and they had their own train car, and they travel around and play at all the different camps where soldiers were kind of having recuperating, from serving. Um, so pretty cool. It was kind of hard on my pop though because he was only 8 and he didn't quite understand. He was so worried about uh, Elmer, and Elmer really couldn't tell him much, because of it would censor the mail. They didn't want to give locations, but
Sure.
with the help of the Red Cross, they were able to get word to my parents that my grandpa was fine, and then all of a sudden the letters started coming, and everything was good. And I actually have all those letters that he wrote um, in the service because my grandma she saved everything, so I have all those letters and I read them from time to time, and they're pretty amazing.
That's got to be so amazing going from his legacy of, swing and jazz bands and all of that to actually having him document it in letter style. And then, of course, so many years later, here you are following sort of in those footsteps, and you have this map of where it all kind of started leading up to you. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. My grandma was able to see us. My grandpa never was able to see the band because we didn't form by the time he had passed away, unfortunately. But my grandma was able to see us several times, and we would actually go take the tour bus to St. Joe, Michigan, park, and take her out to dinner. And I'd spend the night at her house, and the band would spend the night at the hotel, and then to take a night off. It was just outside of Chicago, so it was pretty convenient. And yeah, I miss her. Miss them
Yeah, I
both.
could imagine, sure. Now, Big Bad Voodoo Daddy, of course, helped ignite the '90s swing revival with a fusion of jazz, swing, blues, and contemporary energy. What part of that musical blend do you feel most personally connected to as a drummer?
Well, when I grew up, I had a pretty great record collection thanks to my pops. He had everything from Zeppelin and Jimi Hendrix to Benny Goodman live at Carnegie Hall, and I like all of it. But that record really, struck me when I was young. Just hearing "Sing, Sing, Sing," which I think, is probably a common tale for people. That just is such a groovy tune,
Mhm.
and I started playing in high school, but I didn't really like pursue swing or jazz until I met. ska
Hmm.
in the late 80s. And we started a trio, which was maybe more blues and Americana based, but then all of a sudden we said, I want to start playing swing. And so we got a couple of horn players and started it. And I started taking lessons too to get a little bit more, a little better at it because it's a pretty difficult style. It's a more
Yeah.
like this classical music. And and then we went to New Orleans for the first time, and then man, my eyes, I mean, my life changed after that. I mean, that music just really is so great and so inspirational. So that's kind of where we changed things when we did Save My Soul. We started kind of throwing in traditional New Orleans jazz into the band, and always trying to give it like a little bit of a goose. We didn't want to play like traditional style. We kind of wanted to play loud and raucous, and so people would have great party. And then as we get older, the arrangements are kind of getting a little more traditional,
Hmm.
but we still have that same energy. It's a lot of fun.
It's just great, amazing music. And I know that because I'm 55 now, but when my dad had passed, he had left me a bunch of stuff, and he left me also a record collection, which included Glenn Miller, Fats Waller, Tommy Dorsey, and things like
There
that.
you go.
And I just started playing those things, and I'm just like, I'm getting chills as we're talking right now. My hair's standing up on my.
Sure.
It's just such amazing music, and you were talking about the drumming also, being so much more technical. Like I would see guys like Gene Krupa and stuff like that just sitting there playing behind, Louis Armstrong or something like that, and you're just seeing this
Yeah.
guy wailing on these drums, and I'm looking at him compared to a rock drummer today, and you can see a huge difference in how these two guys are playing and how more intricate the style of music that Gene is playing versus rock and roll. So I can see where you're coming from with that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't. I think these days music and musicians have evolved to a point where it's just crazy what they can do, and
Mm,
at such a young age.
yeah.
But I was really mostly moved by Gene's personality and his ability to make the music feel great. He had a huge smile on his face, and I think swing is more than just a style. It's kind of a feeling.
Yeah.
I could play those beats that he plays, but there's a lot of difference between being able to play it the way he did.
Yeah.
Just all that space in between the notes, and it feels great. It's swinging, but if you don't get it right, it's kind of maybe more like swinking. It's close,
Ah,
but you're like one letter off.
gotcha.
So it's really important, to for the music to get the feel correct, and I'm still working at that. I'm in my room right now actually playing, but getting ready for the tour. But yeah, it's you got to respect it, and I think he did, and I think all musical styles, I think they all do.
Hmm. Now the band's core lineup has stayed, remarkably consistent pretty much since 1995. Um,
Yeah, crazy.
right, I know. And like, what's the secret to maintaining that kind of long-term musical chemistry? Do you think?
Honestly, I think it's personalities,
Mm,
and we just really lucked into a lot of good ones because it's not. There's tons of bands where the musicians are amazing, um, but they just can't work. They can't stay together. I
yeah.
don't know why.
Hmm.
But and then there's times too when they don't get along, but they do stay together anyhow. Like the Eagles, I think they had infamous troubles, but they still stayed together. But I just think we're a family.
Hmm.
We've all really really wanted this, and then when it happened, we were so overjoyed. And then things kind of took a downturn a little bit, maybe in the year like 2000.
Hmm.
But we just kept at it, and we just kept hammering, and we had a really good fan base, from when we first started that never went away. And we just kind of branched out into playing jazz clubs and performing arts centers and playing with symphonies and just trying to play for as many people as we possibly could. We weren't going to be done when the scene kind of dried up as it did, because this music is enjoyable for everybody always.
Yeah, I remember too. Also, kind of a resurgence in this type of music when the Jim Carrey movie Mask came out.
Right.
I think
Royal
a lot
Crown
of
Review.
people were like the younger generation. Even kids that saw the movie. They were hearing these big horns and they saw the zoot suits and things like that. And it must be amazing for you when you do shows that you go out there and you see different generations within the crowd that you're performing to.
Definitely. I mean, we've grown up with some of these people too. There's some people when we did our Christmas tour, we were talking with a couple that we had seen forever, and they had seen us 180 times, which
Woo!
is like mind-boggling to me. But but
Wow.
yeah, pretty cool. We've got a nice kind of family that follows us around, or we revisit from time to time, depending on what city we're going to.
Hmm. Oh, that's amazing. Now it's interesting because Big Bad Voodoo Daddies played everything from intimate jazz rooms to the Super Bowl halftime show with Stevie Wonder. Um,
Yeah,
how does your mindset shift between those extremes?
yeah, it's pretty. It's timely, right? Because we just had a halftime show, and
Yeah,
it always makes like such big news. And I don't, I think it's only now that I appreciate like what a big deal that was.
yeah,
I mean, obviously I was overjoyed and beyond, speechless to be able to play with Stevie and record Sir Duke and and do that. But as I get older and I get more gratitude, I think, in my life, and it's just wild that we were able to do that, and it was so much fun. But I think I actually forgot your question because I got overwhelmed.
yeah. We're just saying, how does your like mindset shift between
Oh,
those
right.
extremes? I mean, either I would honestly answer for you probably by saying you're going to give the exact same show, whether it's at the Super Bowl or whether it's to a club of 50 people or something. I would think.
Definitely,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Because in October, we do this run at a place called Jazz Alley in Seattle. Great venue, small, and so we have so many tunes that we're able to kind of curate what show we do. Like people are going to be sitting, we might not hit them over the head like we would for a show if it's a festival.
Sure.
So we definitely change. We want to play the best show for the people that are in front of us, but we always approach it. No one ever phones this in.
Ah. Yeah, because I would think if you're playing a smaller venue where there's a lot of chairs and really not a lot of room for people to get up, you're gonna
Yeah,
change it a bit. Whereas, like you said, a festival, people are gonna be out there dancing their asses off to your guys' music because they're gonna have the room to do so as well. So,
right. Yeah, so you gotta do that. You gotta give the people what they want.
sure. Now, finally, after more than 2 decades with Big Bad Voodoo Daddy, what still excites you when you sit down at the drums each night?
I'm always, there's always room for improvement. And like I was talking about, as far as swing and just the feel of swing, um, these days I really, really appreciate how you can change the feel of music. You can get any two drummers to come in and play the same song, and it's going to be different because they bring a different approach. And I'm just trying to make our songs sound as good as they possibly can be. Whereas when I was younger, maybe I really, wanted to try and impress people by doing some kind of crazy fill or something like that.
Sure.
I'm not opposed to that, but I think my main job is to make this music feel good and to make the music, swing, and then people get up there and dance. When I see people like tapping their toes or moving their heads, I think that I have a small part in that as part of the rhythm section. And so that's really my main thing, is just to find the exact right space to lay in this band and to lead it as well. It's a big train. So there's 9 of us, and so to lead it, and then the time is different with the horn players as it is with the piano player, as it is with the bass player, and so I kind of like try to be right in the middle of that and just sort of make it work.
Well, you certainly have a great attitude for this business and certainly a great life. You're enjoying what it is that you're doing. You're bringing joy to people, and what more could you ask for, really?
Yeah, I appreciate that, and I couldn't agree more. I'm super grateful to be able to do it, and it's always playing the music is the frosting, and the traveling I think is really what I get paid for. I don't get paid to play because that's just so much fun, but I get paid to sit on a plane or make my way out to Florida or Texas or Connecticut or wherever we're going to go.
Well, on that note, we're definitely so excited to see you, Kurt, February 18th, which is 5 days away next week. Longhorn Ballroom here in Dallas, Texas. And again, I want to thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule and your practice session right now to talk with me. And
It's my pleasure.
we're really excited, looking forward to seeing you. I wanted to ask you, we like to do giveaways here on our website
Yeah,
to our fans. If we bring a really nice guitar for you guys, would you guys sign it and we'll do a giveaway to a lucky fan?
definitely. Do you have Brian's information?
I do.
Yeah, just call him or email him, however you want to do it, and he will set that all up.
Wonderful. Kurt, look forward to seeing you. Safe travels on the road to you and the guys.
Likewise, thank you so much for your support. Really, really appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure, brother. Thank you so much.
Okay, see you.
Okay, bye.